You're listening to the Coventry Sphinx podcast. You can follow the fortunes of our football club on Twitter, where we're at Coventry Sphinx or at coventrysphinx.co.uk. If you like the show, please take a moment to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a rating or a review. For more podcasts from Sphinx Football, visit sphinxfootball.com.
Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Coventry Sphinx podcast with me, Chris Nee, and Shaun Thomas, one of the joint first team managers at our club. This is a podcast about a football club from one Saturday to the next and everything in between. In this week's episode, I'm not actually with Shaun at all, but with our goalkeeper, Tom Cross. I'd like to start by apologising for the lack of an episode last week. It was a busy time for the club, so we've missed out on quite a lot, but you'll have to take my word for it that it was for a good reason. We've had 4 games since the last podcast. The Sphinx finally got started in the league with a really solid away win against AFC Wolverhampton. Colin Smith got the only goal of the game there. Then we had our first round qualifying tie in the FA Vase against Worcester Raiders, which I unfortunately had to miss. Callum Woodward scored in a 1-1 draw, then we won 3-1 on penalties. That was our third shootout win in the first 4 games of the season, and I'll be talking to Crossy about his incredible record in those. Next up, last Tuesday was our FA Cup first round qualifying match against Ilkeston Town. Yet again, Sphinx performed well, but sadly the game got away from us in the last 10 minutes or so, and our little run in the cup came to an end. And on Saturday we won 3-1 at home in the league against Racing Club Warwick. I thought we cruised a bit if I'm honest, but a couple of Ashanti Price goals and one from Loz Rawlings got the job done. Anyway, now we've caught up, let's bring in Tom Cross. He's been in excellent form in goal so far this season, and that's without the fact that he's saved every other penalty in 3 shootouts. So here's Tom, with me, after the Racing Club Warwick game. I'm delighted to be joined by Sphinx goalkeeper Tom Cross, who's been a very busy man so far this season. We have to start with penalties, Crossy. 3 shootouts in the first 4 games of the season, all won. And it helps when the goalkeeper saves 1 in 2.
I think it's 7 out of 14, yeah.
What would you say to anybody who might have been harbouring a theory that your previous good record from the penalty spot was down to you picking a side and sticking with it?
I think you can read a lot into different theories and stuff, but as a goalkeeper, I think you quite enjoy it when it goes to a penalty shootout. You know, you can be the hero and you got to back yourself. So, you know, I'm a big lad, and if you can get down, you know, try and read the body language, and you can tell a lot by their body language when they approach the ball and if they're confident. And then I, you know, pick my way and go for it. Try a few mind games. I think, you know, try and get into the striker's head, and maybe they change their decision last minute, but you can almost from the shoulder position tell where they're going. So yeah, we've had a good start to the season, and obviously the penalty shootouts have been a bit of a bonus for myself.
So yeah, you've saved 7 out of 14 so far this season. I've always been a taker, so I'm completely fascinated by the goalkeeper's perspective on all of this. I'm completely ignorant of it. How does saving half of the penalties you face in shootouts even happen? So you've got you need to try and be a goalkeeper, but there's a bit of psychology in there as well, and a bit of intimidation. It's just all of those things have to come together.
Yeah, I think like you said, there's a lot of, you know, intimidation, and ultimately the pressure's on the penalty taker. As a goalkeeper, there's no pressure on you. Yes, you put pressure on yourself, and you'd be disappointed if you don't save penalties and you can't get your team through. Yeah, it's been, like I said, it's been a dream start in terms of the penalty shootout saves.
Is it most important to save the first one?
I think Sphinx have took the second penalty, haven't they? So whether or not there's a bit of, you know, mind games and that, and the lads give me confidence because I know they're going to hit the target. So if I can save 1, I think we've got a good chance of winning. And like you said, I've managed to save a couple more than that. And, you know, if the lads can score theirs, then we've got every chance of going through.
I think all the ones you've faced have hit the target as well, haven't they?
Yeah, no one's missed a target, I don't think, in all 3 shootouts.
Is there a meaningful way for a goalkeeper to actually practice penalties? We said all of those things go into actually saving 1. And from a taker's point of view, you can't really replicate the challenge that's facing them. Is it the same for you?
I don't think we've ever practiced penalties, to be fair, in training. It's just one of those things where you get a penalty and you try and, you know, get in the striker's head, and then try and read as much as you can and pick your spot. So, you know, we've worked on a lot of things pre-season with Lee and Damo, but penalties has never really been anything I've worked on. It's just more of that moment and what your guts feeling.
You do plenty of drills that are about reacting at close quarters. Some of those must come in handy.
Yeah, I suppose, but a lot of the time I try and pick him away before he's took the penalty. You can't wait for the penalty to be taken and then react, because the lads are, if it's a decent strike, you're never going to get to it. So it's more the body language.
You've had a few clean sheets for good measure as well this season. But I think a very good start to the season.
Yeah.
Some man of the match performances, even in just the 90 minutes.
During lockdown, took the opportunity to, get myself a lot fitter than I was last season and the previous season. So I feel that's really paying dividends now, and we've worked hard with Damo and Lee, and Jude's been great pushing us all. And ultimately, I know I need to perform to keep in the team, because Jude's desperate for first team football. But Lee's been great. He's pushed me all the way, and it's been specific with what we're trying to do. So just really enjoying the football at the minute.
You've given us some goalkeeping stability that's not always been here at this club. There was one season in particular when we went through an unbelievable number of goalkeepers, and it feels like the club is set up better from a goalkeeping point of view. You work with Damien Morgan and Lee McClay, you've mentioned, and it looks from the outside as if you all worked very well together, Jude, in that as well. Yeah,
it's a tight unit, and I think if you don't get on with your goalkeeper coaches and you're struggling, because ultimately they're there to help you and benefit the team. So there is a good relationship. We always speak during the week. Really appreciative of Lee and Damo giving up their time to support me and Jude.
Talk us through a typical session with Lee. Damien looks after match day a bit more, but Lee you will see during the week, and you and Jude will go off with him.
Yeah, you're quite isolated as a keeper in terms that sometimes you want to get in with the lads and enjoy the social side with the lads, but keepers can be a lonely position. So what's going to happen in terms you go to training, and I prefer to go off with a keeper coach. I feel I get a lot more from that than playing a 5-a-side or 6-a-side. And Lee will know what we're going to work on before we get there, and he plans his sessions. So we'll have a warm up, get your feet and hands going, and then he'll have good 20-30 minutes blast on what he's trying to achieve from the session. So, and that would be specific to me, and then looking at what specifics Jude needs to work on as well.
Having spoken to Lee, I think he's got a pretty good grip on your game, hasn't he? He's very understanding of exactly how Tom Cross plays football.
No, definitely, and he like the mental side of it as well. He knows I need to get myself fired up to play, and I think that's when I'm at my best, when I'm high arousal levels as you call it. But I've had a great relationship with Lee since he's been in, and he does understand how I work, and I think that's a massive part of being a goalkeeper coach. And to us to have 2 keeper coaches at the club, we are spoiled. A lot of clubs at this level don't have that support.
What is your own input into your training program? Is it more collaborative as an individual position? So you have a conversation with your coach about what's going to happen?
Yeah, like you said, Lee knows us both very well, and he analyses our games, if it's through videos or if he's actually at the game. But he knows us, inside out in terms of what we need to do. So he'll come with that session plan. And I'm 32 now, so I know myself what I need to work on. And pre-season's different because you need to cover a lot of aspects of your game. But I don't think we're going to train for the next sort of 5 or 6 weeks because of all the midweek games. So it's just a case of, in the meantime, just can I get some gym sessions in and go for some runs, what I've been doing during lockdown. So yeah, and then just have a good warm up on a match day. We talk a lot on WhatsApp, and we have our group chat. We say, maybe we conceded a goal last week through close range shot or a corner. Can we work on crossing? Can we work on 1v1s, for example?
We've effectively got 2 first team standard goalkeepers at the club, which isn't something everybody can say at this level. Some teams at this level can't really say they've got 1 first team goalkeeper standard. You've got a few years on you.
Nearly twice his age, I think.
Does a bit of mentoring instinct come in because it's such a close-knit group?
Yeah, I want to help Jude as much as I can, and I give him little pointers here and there. And like I said earlier, Jude pushes me. I know I need to be at my best because, he's desperate to have that shirt. He had some, game time last year, probably played 5 or 6 games. I'm sure he's desperate to do that again this year. So, he's got a good future in the game, and we'll see little things in training, and we'll just have a little chat, and Lee will, support what we're saying. But, I can see things when he's in goal, and I'm sure when I'm in goal, taking the shots, he sees things, and he says, look at attacking the ball more and things like that. So we have got, we do push each other really well, and I think we're both benefiting from it early in the season.
We've not really spoken like this, so I want to go back and talk about how you got started, how your career up to this point has gone. So where did you first kind of break through as first team goalkeeper?
A team called Rothwell Corinthians, so they're step 5 now. So I'm a Kettering born lad, so I went through the Kettering youth team, and then played Rothwell Corinthians under 18s, then broke into the first team at 17, and then obviously went to university, and I was travelling back for the first season, I think. Home comforts and things like that. I was coming back from Sheffield every weekend on the train, getting my washing, getting my food, and going back up, and then playing first team football at university. An opportunity came up where got a move to Sheffield FC. So I played for Sheffield for probably about 18 months. Great experience, great club. World's oldest football club. So a lot went with that, trips away to Poland, places like that for pre-season, playing Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday pre-season. So some great opportunities. And then obviously finished uni 3 years later, came back and signed for Corby Town, who were Conference North at the time. Frustrating time there where the first team goalkeeper was Chris Mackenzie. I think he was 38 at the time. But, he'd played league football. And it was a case, be patient, you'll get your chance. I think there was a budget cut end of the season. I ended up playing the last 8 games of the season and won 7 of them and missed out on the playoffs by a point. And then obviously Mackenzie stayed. I think he came back at the start of the season. I just thought it was time to, go and play regular football. So bounced around a few different clubs and then found myself at Bedworth, where we won the Southern League playoffs. We had a great season there, young team. Steve Farmer was manager. We had a great changing room, and we there's some experience in there too. We went on and won the playoffs, and then after that season, I was at AFC Rushden Diamonds. So again, big club, great fan base, and it was different there because the expectation was to win every week, whereas clubs I've been at before, every week you weren't the favourites to win. So it's, different type of pressure, and you probably weren't in the game for 70%, and then you'd have to do one thing. I think concentration as a keeper was really testing. You see, people like Ben Foster goes to Man United and struggles because it's a different type of goalkeeping. Where I think if I'm in the game more, I get the best out of me. I struggle to do that. So after that, I moved to Leamington with my wife now. And then, played for some clubs locally around Leamington, sort of Evesham, Southam for a couple of years. And then Racing Club, who we played today, had a season there. And then obviously played for Nibbo at Southam. So we had a connection there, and he brought me over to Sphinx, which was 3 seasons ago now. So, it's probably the longest I've been at a club.
Yeah.
And really enjoying it.
So is that just a case of goalkeeper I can trust, I know him well, picks up the phone, job done?
Yeah, you want to play for somebody who you enjoy playing for, and come over to Sphinx, and it's a very tight knit group, and anybody looking outside can see that it's a great changing room, and you look at the players they signed this summer. We look at Bryson, Jack Downs has come in, Andre, Danny Fraser. And it's like they've been here for 6 months. Everyone's bought into it, and I think we're obviously reaping the rewards from that now. I had a great start to the season, and you go in the bar now. Everyone's in there having a good time. We've got a great change room at the minute.
We've had a really good start to the season. As a goalkeeper, you have a totally different perspective on the game, certainly to us on the sideline, but to the other players as well. You're now playing behind a group of defenders who are really getting to grips with the system that we've tried before over the years, and it's been a bit of a mixed result.
Definitely.
With the 3 at the back. It seems to suit whoever's in there at the moment.
If you look across the team, though, you've probably got 4 or 5 centre-halves who can, hold the place at centre-half. You've got Guesty coming back. Obviously, Liam Kay plays midweek. You look at the midfielders, you've got 5 or 6 in there. It's a very competitive squad now. And the one thing I would say is, you look at last season, start of the season, you couldn't pick your team. There's a lot of people coming in, coming out. You didn't know your best 2 up front. We didn't know our best back 4. I think you look at this season, we're very settled. Might be 1 or 2 changes every week, but we've got the makeup now to play 3-5-2 with Danny and Loz at right back and left, full backs. If we can keep that solid base, we're gonna be pushing top 6 hopefully. But in terms of individual players, you'll see a lot more. So when Liam Kay's in there, you get a lot more talking and organisation. Where today you've got Andre, Patson and Bryson, it's up to those boys to step up and develop that part of the games, where I think Patson's come on leaps and bounds since last season, and he's taken responsibility for playing in that position where before Liam was, holding his hand, talking him through it. He's now got to do that himself. And we look solid, don't we? So
we do. The 5 as a collective all have a responsibility towards you. But if we take Loz and Danny slightly out of the picture in terms of being, directly related to what the goalkeeper needs from them, are you more comfortable having a 3 in there?
Yeah, I've never really been a fan of a 3 because, people understanding their jobs always prefer the 4 because, everyone knows if you've got 2 up front, centre halves are marking the 2 strikers. But I think what we've done well is everyone's talking, everyone's organised. You look at today, you've got midfielders throwing themselves in front of shots. So it's a real team effort. We appreciate if you're defensively solid, you can go and get points, you can go and win games. Whereas last year, I think we were very naive. You go to some places, I think Cowser, Newark, and you'd set up to out-football and play 3-5-2 away from home, where A, you probably didn't have the players to do it, B, we were so open, you just weren't going to, have a platform to work from. So hopefully we can, keep our players fit and keep, playing that formation. It's
important for you as the goalkeeper to be vocal in that system.
Definitely.
As well. And it seems like that part of your game has come on.
And that comes with, playing football and experience. Talked about Jude earlier. That's one thing, as a young keeper, I was always told you need to talk more, you need to do that. But until you're actually played more games, you don't understand the value of it. Play with people like Liam Kay, so all he does is talk, and I think playing with him's developed my talking as well and keeps you switched on. If you're talking throughout the game, your concentration's there.
Do you just let Liam get on with it in those midweek games in terms of the talking?
I think probably take more responsibility on a Saturday to talk and try and get the other lads talking. But, it's not a case of, Liam's here, I don't need to say anything, because, like I said, it keeps everyone on their toes. If you can hear voices from behind you all the time as a centre-back, if there's a man, on your right shoulder. And I think, Bryson's come in and done very well. Andre's took his chance as well. And it's just encouraging everyone to talk now, because you're only going to reap the rewards of it if you're organised as a defensive unit.
So you've got that unique perspective. You see the whole team in front of you. How good can we be this season?
That's it. So, Shaun, sometimes, have you seen anything from behind at half-time, for example? You do see different things. I think today, the difference was today we've took our chances, and other weeks, we haven't been as clinical in front of goal. So I think if we can take our chances, if we can keep the squad together, we've got, a very good squad. Yes, you've got to try and keep people happy and get game time. But I think with us playing, Saturday, Tuesday for the next 5-6 weeks, it's easier for Tomo and Woody to rotate it a little bit. But I think if we're all on it, like you've seen, we've played Ilkeston, league, top of league above, Coleshill, Bedworth pre-season, we can compete against the better teams. It's when the pressure's on us to win, that's when, you see a little mentality change, which we've got to, that's a difference of being up there in the league, top 6 to mid-table. So if we can apply ourselves every week, which now we know we can do, the lads have set the standard now. So hopefully we can kick on from, 6 points out of 6. We've got a tough game Wednesday, Worcester away. So if we can, get a point, 3 points away from home, you're going to be happy.
Thank you to Tom for this week's chat. The schedule is looking as busy as ever. This Wednesday we travel to Worcester, actual Worcester, to face Worcester City in the league, and then it's a trip to Heather St John's on Saturday afternoon. Next week we have a home league game against Long Eaton United, That's on Tuesday evening at Sphinx Drive. And our FA Vase second round qualifying tie on Saturday 10th of October, that's against Shifnal Town. The big games keep coming, and I think it's a measure of the club that everybody is just looking forward to every challenge. That's all for this week. Shaun Thomas and I will be back in 7 days or so to catch up again. See you then.
Thanks for listening to the Coventry Sphinx podcast, a Sphinx Football production. For more of our podcasts, visit sphinxfootball.com.